Hello and welcome to the presentation Energy Management with the ABB EQmatic Energy Analyzer QoS KNX. My name is Jürgen Schilder from the company ABB and I work in the field of building automation global training. In the next 20 minutes I will give you an overview of the various solutions of energy management with the Energy Analyzer QoS KNX. This also includes measuring consumption values from the entire building to the individual rooms. At the end of the presentation, we will be happy to answer your questions. Let me start with a question. Why measure energy consumption? Now the answer was given more than 100 years ago by Lord Kelvin. He said if you don't measure it, you cannot improve it. And this is still true. With these measured values, we can improve the energy efficiency in the building. We can reduce the rising energy costs, at the moment very important, because the energy becomes more and more expensive. We can create incentives for cost savings, or for internal billing between the different departments in a building, and also for a fair sharing of the costs. Furthermore, we can make an implementation of energy management system like ISO 50001 and also for sustainable construction to get an energy label like, for example, a LEED certification. Furthermore, we can make the consumption more transparent to see where is the energy flowing, and also a review, and we can change then the consumer behavior. And very important, we can also monitor an installation. We can detect so-called energy thieves. For example, why there is a pump working or a blower or a chiller at a weekend when the office is not used. No one is in the room, but the device is still working. So this can be all detected here via our energy solutions. And of course, for load management and to approach more automation. On this slide, you can see our ABB iBus KNX product range overview. We have a wide range of products, started from system devices like power supplies, IP routers, and also line couplers. Furthermore, switch actuators, DIMM actuators, DALI gateways, a very powerful solution, can be done with our Clima Echo range for HVAC, heating, cooling, including here the connection to the boiler and chiller. Furthermore, for shading and blinds, room solutions like the Room Masters, and our wide range of control elements, different designs, the Tenton, the Smart Touch, and also inputs, outputs, and also security solution. And you can see here on the left side our solution for energy with the so-called Energy Analyzer, QoS, meter interface, Modbus gateways, Energy Actuator, and our Switch Actuator Professional. And now step by step, I would like to show you here the application of these devices. So what is our ABB EQmatic? It is a compact and web-based solution for the application of energy management and efficiency. It enables the customer to record, visualize, and also process sub-metering data, not only for energy, electrical energy, also for water, gas, and for heat. It is a really simple, ready-to-use solution for recording, to visualize and also analyze the energy and the consumption data. And with these devices, we close the gap between the field devices, our meters, and high-level software applications like a BMS system or visualization. And the facility manager or the energy manager of a building or a typical end user in a residential home can use the device to see then the energy demand and the historical data in a small, like for example, residential application up to mid-size commercial buildings. So these are the three hardware versions we have of the Energy Analyzer QoS. One is here for KNX, MBus, and Modbus. These are compact modular DIN-rail devices to install in the distribution board and record then the energy values which comes from the meters, depends on the protocol, and store it here in the device. So these Energy Analyzer QoS are here for electrical meters, gas, water, and heat meters. So for the complete energy consumption in a building. So and with these devices, we can make the energy flow transparent. We can visualize the values here, maybe for example in kilowatt hours, but also in CO2 and of course also in costs in a wide range of currency you can select here. So then the end user or the energy facility manager can understand then in the installation the transparent the energy flows, and he can measure, he can see instantaneous value and the values here also logged, and can do here analysis like here a consumer ranking, or for example here also a cost splitting. This is all here built inside the devices. So we have three different hardware versions of this energy analyzer QoS. They collect the data from KNX, from a KNX meter, from MBus meters or Modbus. So depending on your system you have in your building, KNX, MBus or Modbus, you have to use here a different hardware version. And maximum 64 meters can be connected here to an energy analyzer. It's a web-based system solution. You need no additional PC or software, only a standard browser here via tablet, for example, or inside or outside the building via VPN connection. So the end user can have access depending on his right, and also the administrator for the complete commissioning and configuration of the energy analyzer. So via the web browser we can see then the energy consumption and also the historical data. Furthermore, the devices can also send here reports cyclically every week, every month to a network attached storage or via email. And for integration into BMS system or SCADA system, devices can provide here data via Modbus TCP or REST API. Let's have here a look on this web user interface of the energy analyzer. Independent if it's a KNX, MBus or Modbus, only the protocol of the meters is different. So the web user interface, the commissioning of all energy analyzers are the same. Here on the left side you can see the so-called dashboard for a rapid overview of these widgets here. Then we have here the historical data, a usage split. To see the instantaneous value, we can make also benchmarking between different meters, room, floors, or via different time periods. And for KNX we have also load control. In the next slides I will give you more information about this web user interface. But before, we have to measure the data in the room, in the field. So we can do it here on the left side via KNX, via a standard KNX meter, like a water meter, a heat meter, or a standard gas meter, which is here connected to KNX. ABB, we offer also a wide range of switch actuator, and we have one range with so-called energy functions. This is a professional range for industrial application, which can switch a load and also measure then the energy. Furthermore, our so-called energy actuator and an energy module. This is so-called a decentralized solution. And a solution for a complete building, a complete floor, for example. Then we have here our so-called meter interface, ZSS, which gets the values here from an energy meter. And new our Modbus gateways to integrate here Modbus meters. This is how we can measure different kind of energy via KNX. And then on top we have the energy analyzer QoS. He receives the values and make it here transparent and store it then in the database. So the other two versions are here the MBus energy analyzer and the Modbus. They are here for Modbus or for MBus meters. Not only ABB meters, you can connect all standard MBus meters and Modbus meters, which follows here then the MBus or Modbus standard. Now let's have a look at this KNX switch actuator. We have a wide range, and we have a special range, the so-called professional. The professional are for industrial applications with different number of outputs, 2, 4, 8, 12. We can switch here a high capacity load with C load up to 20 amps. And we have here additional energy functions built inside. It means per channel we measure the current, and then we can calculate the power and the energy consumption and can send then these energy values here to the energy analyzer QoS. So then we have additional interesting device, a so-called energy actuator, SAS. It's a switch actuator with 3 channels up to 20 amps per channel, and we have here built inside a complete energy meter. So the devices measure the current, the voltage, the frequency, the power per channel, and we get it also here of the complete device and can send it here via KNX to our energy analyzer. Additionally, we have inside so-called intermediate meter. So when you switch on, for example here, channel A, the value, the intermediate meter goes to 0. He counts the energy, and when you switch off the load, then he sent this value to the energy analyzer or to a panel, and make it here also visible how much energy we used here, maybe from switching in the morning the light on until we switch it off in the evening, or such as typical examples. And the energy module is the same. It's a device with 3 channels, but here without relays. So for example, when there is still a switch actuator, a standard switch actuator installed, and afterwards we can here install then the energy module to measure all the meter values here in the room. For a decentralized solution, we have our meter interface ZSS. He gets via optical interface the meter values from our energy meter from the so-called A or B series. These are meters which are certified via the MID approval for billing. We get the values and send it then for further evaluation here to our KNX energy analyzer. And now this is a new device we launched some months ago, the gateway between Modbus and KNX. So we have the connection to KNX and to Modbus, and we can send here commands from KNX into the Modbus world, and from Modbus here we get back then the status. We have here maximum 100 data points between KNX and Modbus. So for configuration or parameterization of the meters, we have here a database of templates. So we can select the type of your Modbus server. It is, for example, energy meter B21, or is it a Terra AC wall box, or is it also a third-party device? Then you can select a template, and then you get here the configuration of the complete register addresses, the units, and so on. So on this slide, you can see the overview of this Modbus KNX gateway. On the left side, we have KNX with our energy analyzer QS. He gets or receives the value via KNX here from our Modbus meters, like the Terra AC wall box or energy meter, network analyzer, also a third-party meter. On the other way, we can send here commands, like for example from a room temperature controller, here into the Modbus world to control here a Modbus interface for VRV unit or for inverter or for chiller. What is also possible is here to control the Terra AC wall box. So via a KNX telegram, via a time switch or manual button, we can start the charging of the car. We can stop it, and we can change also the current, the charging current, depending on the available energy here in our KNX world. So then let's come to the, let me say, first basic function of an energy analyzer QS, independent if it's a KNX energy analyzer, MBus or Modbus. So the end user have access to the energy analyzer via a standard browser. He needs only the IP address of the energy analyzer, and then he can see the historical data, he can see the instantaneous values, he can make benchmarking, and so on. So all this energy analyzer can also send reports like emails every day, every week. In the email we can have attachment of an Excel file or CSV files with the historical data. Furthermore, it can be also uploaded here to a network attached storage. So for the commissioning and the configuration, the administrator has a special login with high priority, and then he's doing the complete configuration via the same way via IP from inside the building, or also maybe via VPN connection from outside the building. So then we come to the next level. All these 3 energy analyzer can also provide the data via REST API, forward the meter values here to a cloud platform, and also provide meter values via Modbus TCP, this network IP protocol. So also the KNX energy analyzer and the MBus and Modbus, all these 3 energy analyzer provides the data via Modbus TCP. And then on top, when we have here a SCADA system, BMS, visualization, or our ABB silent devices, they can read out these Modbus TCP values and make it, for example, here transparent, or we can do here more monitoring or analyzing of these values. The third solution is, depending here on our SCADA system or visualization, this system can convert these Modbus TCP values into KNX net IP telegrams and send it here on the IP network to a KNX IP router via the KNX net IP protocol. And the IP router converts these IP telegrams into twisted pair. So at the end user can see the values, meter values here on a smart touch, for example, or via the control touch on his mobile phone, or we can trigger here some functions to switch, independent if the meter values come from a KNX energy analyzer, MBus or Modbus. It doesn't matter. A very powerful solution here with this energy analyzer QoS. So then let's come to the dashboard of the energy analyzer. This is when you log in, depending on your user account. Then the end user with the standard rights can see here a dashboard. He can create his own widgets, like for example to see here energy values or the power values here via gauge, usage split. So this is created by the end user. Depending on his rights, he can only add here widgets of his apartment or his room, for example, because he's not allowed to see meter values of the other rooms. Or we can make here, for example, historical data or also consumer ranking. This is flexible here and done by the typical end user. On the next menu, we are in a so-called analytics menu. It means the analytics, we have here on the left side the topology of our meter. This is done by the system administrator. When he configures the energy analyzer, he creates here the typical topology, like we know it in the ETS from our building view, like we have here main meter, then we have here sub meter or intermediate meter for electrical energy, we have water meter and gas meter. And then when we click here on the button instantaneous value, then we can here see, of course, the instantaneous values like the active imported energy, the current tariff, tariff here of power for the phase L1, L2, L3, the voltage per phase between the phases, the current in the neutral. So these are the values sent by the KNX meter here to the energy analyzer. The nice feature is here the so-called historical data menu. Depending on the selection here on the left side of our meter, we can see then the historical data of the minimum last 3 years. So all these values of the maximum meters are here stored in the database. So now when we select here or click on our main meter, energy main meter, then we can select here the time period, maybe per day, per week, per month, per year, or all. Like here in this example, I selected per day from midnight to midnight. Then I can see here the load profile or the generation profile, or the costs or the power, the energy. So it depends what I have selected here in my X. Like here, I selected load profile, and then I see here between 500 watts in this building, typical residential home. And then maybe I see here, oh, there's a high load of 4000 watts a peak, and again. So this is what we can do for minimum the last of the 3 years to see this historical data. So what is now this high peak? When we go then deeper in the topology, like here to the meter of the wall box, then you can see, okay, this high peak, when we go back here, this one, this is exactly the charging of the car. So depending where you click here, you can see more details. Or here, when you click on the meter of the washing machine and dish dryer, then you can see here the load profile of the washing machine. This is example in a residential home, but please also transfer it in a commercial building to see the behavior of a machine. If the machine works fine, or if there's something wrong because he needs not the normal way of load. Here you can see the typical load profile of a washing machine, here to heat up, and the tumbler, for example, or here the cloth dryer. So now everything is fine. You see the washing machine and the cloth dryer works here perfect. There is no failure of the device. Or here we can here also see the typical behavior of a sauna in a residential home. To check the function. Typical function of a sauna is to heat up with maximum load here of 8000 watt. And when the temperature here is reached of 90 degrees, you see only here the peaks to keep the temperature. So also please transform it into industrial application to check here the behavior of a machine, of a pump or something, to see the load profile, if it really works fine, the machine. Not only the consumption, also generation data can be made visible. Like here on this residential home, we have here installed 2 solar panels. This is so-called, in Germany, we say balcony system. It's allowed to have here 2 panels to produce maximum 600 watts to reduce your incoming load. Not to get money with more panels, no, only to reduce the incoming load instead of buying expensive load to reduce it. So now then you say here in the settings, this is generation, and then you can see here the triple generation profile via 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month. And you see this here is from midnight to midnight. You see in the morning 7 a.m. sun rising, and then to producing here the energy here per day. And we can make also comparison between the consumption and the generation. So when we go here to the net load profile, then you see here And this time, from midnight until, 9, 10 a.m. in the morning, the house needs energy from outside, from the public energy supplier. And here we are in a generation mode. These two panels produced more energy than we need from outside. So this is here the target of these two panels, to reduce the incoming load to zero instead of buying to produce their own energy. So another possibility is also to integrate meters for water or for gas or for heat. Like here, this is a typical meter connected here to KNX, and then you can see then here the water, the peaks, the water demand per day, per week, per month. You see there was a peak at night, 3 a.m., a small water. What was it? Maybe somewhere was here in the toilet. Here the water demand during the day and in the evening, for example, for showering. So this can be detected. And what you can also do to detect energy thieves. I hope you remember one of my first slides to see here, for example, there is a constant water flow. Something is wrong. Like here, the so-called the flush siphon bell was defective during aging, and then was a constant water flow. Thanks to the energy analyzer, it was possible to detect this constant water flow and to find these energy thieves. This here is an example for water, but remember, please transfer it to industrial buildings to see why there is a pump running or a fan or a blower or a chiller, something over the weekend at the night and uses a lot of energy. The additional feature of the energy analyzer QoS KNX is that we can have a load control. So the energy analyzer receives the power from different devices like the energy actuator, the switch actuator with professional or also third-party KNX devices, like also the meter interface, energy module. Then he zooms up the values, and when we here exceed our value, then he sends shedding stages to the devices like the energy actuator or switch actuator to switch off the load. He starts with shedding stage 1, shedding stage 2, and then 3, up to 8 shedding stages. So in the parameterization, we can define which devices reports the energy and which devices can be switched on and off via these 8 stages. And in the web user interface, you can also change here, for example, then the thresholds. You can enable it, and you can do also a lot of more things. And you can see here in a kind of graph when this threshold was exceeded. Some words about the commissioning. It is a ready-to-made solution. You do the parameterization in the ETS. It's a KNX device. To say meter number 1, it's a meter interface. Number 2, it's a water meter, gas meter. Then we need a connection to device via IP. Then the device starts in the first time via the so-called wizard. He guides you to the first steps, to change the password, to set date and time, network settings. Then we come to the meter management. We create our structure with the sub-meters, with the main meters, define what is a water meter, what is a gas meter, and so on. We can change also the tariffs to say how much is a kilowatt hour or how many CO2 kilogram are produced per kilowatt hour. If you want, make a here overview of the CO2 demand of a building, and at the end it's finished. You see, you need no software. It's really a ready-to-made solution. All information of our ABB KNX products and solutions are available on our website abb.com/knx. If you want more details like a product manual or ETS application, then go to Product and Downloads. The complete training content of our devices is in our training database. Here you will find extensive content like the recording and presentation slides of our webinars and online learning sessions. The training videos are also available on the YouTube channel Home and Building Automation. I would like to thank you very much for listening.